It is February of 1999. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and the phone on my nightstand wakes me up. Now, I know it's going to be bad news because it's always bad news when the phone rings in the middle of the night. And it's true. I get news that's going to change my life forever. When I answer the phone, I hear my sister scream, "Daddy's dead." And before I get a chance to say anything, she says, "Mommy called. And Daddy was in his chair and he wasn't breathing." So apparently my mom called the ambulance and I was to get down there to be with her as soon as I could. Now, my sister and my brother-in-law, Billy, were gonna get in the car and meet the ambulance at the hospital. And I felt some comfort in knowing that my sister had called my cousin Mo to go over and be with my mom until I got there. And I knew my sister was with Billy. He was the boy next door who she married. And I've known him since I was a kid. I mean, his dad used to take me in his police car. He was the chief of police in our town, and I'd go around in the squad car. So I knew she was safe, and I was hoping that that police connection somehow would make sense of this chaos and this insanity. And it's then that I get in the car and I get on the road, and it's a long way. It's about an hour. It's dark. And I think maybe it's good that he died. You know, he had Alzheimer's, and the doctors said that he would soon forget my name, and soon after that, he'd forget how to eat and die a sad death. And maybe it was good that he was in his chair that he loved so much. But then I realized that I never got a chance to say goodbye to him. And I start to cry, and I start to beg, and I actually say the words, "God, please, if there is a way for this not to be true, let it be." And it is at that very moment that my big car phone rings, and it's my sister. It's garbled, though. I can hardly hear her, but I do make out the words. It's not Daddy. Go home. And then the phone goes dead. Now, I have led a very good life up to this point, but I cannot command God. This is not biblical times. And so I pull over, I go to a 7-Eleven and I call my parents' number, and my mother answered, and she's happy. And she's awake, and I said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And she said, "Me and Daddy are here, we're having coffee with Mo." So apparently earlier, my cousin Mo comes to this dark house, knocks on the door. My father, Mo, plays it cool and says, "I'm here for coffee." And of course, like, we're these insane, insomniac Italian people who do actually stop over and drink coffee at 4 o'clock in the morning. So my parents let her in, they believe her. And I said, "Mom, I just called you because I couldn't sleep." And she believes me too. And I just head home confused, though. And as I'm driving home, the phone rings, and it's Patty the diplomat, and she sounds upset. And I said, "Pat, no, this is really good. I just talked to Mommy, and Daddy's okay." And she said, "I know," and she has other news for me. See, when she went to the hospital, she and Billy were there, and she broke every HIPAA law that had not yet been created, because she peeked over the nurse's station and saw that my dad's name was not on there, but there was a name that she did recognize. And she had to turn around, and she had to tell Billy that it was his dad in the ambulance that night. And she had to tell Billy that it was his dad that passed away that night. And it was then that I thought about all those things that I thought wouldn't happen to my dad, because every single one of them did. But then something else happened. See, before he forgot who I was, he asked me if he was a good father. And I told him that 1 year with him was better than a lifetime with anyone else. And he smiled. And then after he forgot who I was, and before he forgot how to speak, he started to hallucinate. And he told me that I was a woman who was in a hotel room with two men during the war, enjoying myself immensely. And I said, Daddy, I wasn't even born yet. Thank you.